It's a fantastic initiative to really set up some great role models for women of tomorrow, and I think having role models in every industry is really, really important.
As well as encouraging them, we have a responsibility, a collective responsibility to create a proper environment for them to thrive.
The very real issues of diversity, whether that's race, ethnicity, social mobility or gender, that this is about. And whilst it can be difficult to talk about these topics, it's important to talk about them because they matter.
And the headlines over the last month have really reinforced the need for every industry to really become more diverse, to have more gender equality, because that's where the culture will start to change and it will become a more respectful, creative, prosperous working environment for all of us.
The most important thing we need to do is to ensure we've got as close as possible to proportional gender balance in every department, in every agency and every marketing department, and there's no excuse for not having that.
Young women in the industry, and also actually young men who also feel strongly about the issue, is be the change that you want to see. So that's doing things like recognising that you are a role model to those coming behind you and lower the ladder to them, help them with advice, coaching, mentoring.
We need as many male role models that are role modelling flexible working than we do females for flexible working.
The technology makes it easier. We already do this. On global accounts, you don't see your client every day, you work in different time zones anyway. I've got a 3-year-old daughter. I like to take her to nursery. I like being part of that, being part of her life in that way. I've got a phone, it's got the internet on it, I've got emails, it's not that difficult. So I think creating an environment where that's acceptable, where you set that example, is important.
Quite often I think maternity conversations tend to be sort of held in the warm cocoa of HR, and businesses don't often say to women, we're really going to miss you, please come back, we're really excited about what you can do when you come back.
I think it goes between sort of the larger companies and ones that are part of networks tend to be very good with packages and maternity cover and championing female talent coming up through the ranks to go off and have that time off to bring up their children and come back. Whereas smaller companies, I think, find it quite difficult.
I actually think a lot of agencies won't change unless they're forced to change, and I think clients play a crucial role in that.
But it's important for clients to put pressure on agencies, and I think what we really mustn't fall into the trap of is quotas, and then it becomes disingenuous because it says that this client won't work with us unless we've got 5 women on the account team. Can you just go and employ 5 women for the account team so that we can get this client? And I think that does everyone a disservice, the agency, the client, and those women as well.
It's not a conversation I've ever had with them, and so something I'm going to take away from today is, with every agency I work with, is to have that conversation and think about it and talk about it, and not in a commanding way, not in a judgy way, but to actually think about, do we have the right level of diversity here? What could we be doing? Why aren't there more different people in this room? We have power, we pay the bills at the end of the day, so we have a real power to do that. And I'm not saying it's entirely our responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility. But if we're not pushing for change, how's it going to happen?
So they need to set some objectives and they need to start trying. They need to find somewhere within their organisation where they can start making this work, and they will fail. They definitely will fail. Not every single initiative will work every time for everyone, but I think that's absolutely fine because that's how life is. But I think as an industry, we are very secretive and we're very inclined to showcase our successes, but nobody ever sees our failures. And I think because we're all in this together, if we start sharing our failures, we can all learn from one another, fail fast and move on. So that would be my advice to organisations.
We had a really interesting debate this morning. I was really keen that there was some practical action to take out of it. Crucially, there was some really great advice about what we should be doing to drive change, and that was the best outcome for me.